Hi guys, I'm Valerie. I'm going to be taking you through your ab workout today. So let's get started. We're going to do some nice dynamic warm-ups. Hands are going to be behind the head. We're going to lift that hip up and do some nice hip openers. Working on our balance. And then switching it over to the opposite side. Using that core to pull that knee up and around. 2 and 1, coming back through center. Now we're going to take the opposite knee to the opposite elbow, lifting up and lowering down. You can go as fast or as slow as you want to here, being mindful of the low back and any neck and shoulder pain you might have. Nice and easy. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Finishing it out, both sides. Then we're going to come into our 4-count burpee. So you're going to bring your hands down to the mat, come back into a plank, kick your feet back up, and lift up. Hands down, kick it out, come forward, and up. Warming up the spine, warming up the core, getting a little bit of a full body in here to get that blood pumping. Couple more, you got it. 2 more. 1 and 2. This time we're going to stay down here in this plank pose. We're going to hold our hands underneath our shoulders. You can come down to your elbows if you'd like to, and we're just going to jack it out. Jack planks. Like you're doing a jumping jack, but in a plank pose. Our hips are down. Our booty is not up towards the sky. Everything is nice and tight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back up to standing. We're going to come back to those hip circles. Hands interlaced behind the head, lifting it up. Nice big hip circles. Opening it up. Crunching that core in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to those steam engines, bringing the elbow to the knee. You want to make sure that you're not rounding your upper body to bring your elbow to your knee. You're bringing your knee up as high as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to those 4-count burpees. I know these suck, but this is the last time. Coming down, back up. If you want to make it a little bit harder when you come up, you can add a little jump. If you want to make it a lot harder, you can add a little push-up at the bottom of your plank. Coming into a full burpee. Almost done. You got this. Stay strong. We're getting the blood pumping here. Keep those hips nice and low. Last one, then we're going to hold. We're in that plank position. Hands are under the shoulders. Jack plank it out. Hips are low. 3, 2, and 1. Coming down onto the ground, we're going to make our way onto our backs. Our legs are going to be extended long on the mat. Our hands are going to come up overhead. And then we're going to slowly peel ourselves off of the mat. Coming up, and then rolling all the way back down. Arms up overhead. And then rolling ourselves back up. And coming all the way back down. One more time, rolling up. Just kidding, it's not the last time. Rolling back down. Our abs are nice and tightly tucked. You're pulling that navel in towards the spine. Getting the core nice and active. Two more. Last one. Rolling it up, reaching those fingertips forward, and then slowly rolling yourself all the way back onto the mat. We're going to take those feet, those knees above the hips. Hands are going to come behind the shoulder, behind the head. Interlace the fingertips. We're going to bring the right elbow to the left knee and extend that right leg long. Coming back through center, extend it out to the other side. We're going to just do some bicycle crunches. Really think about bringing that shoulder up and off of the mat. So you're not just using your elbow, you're bringing your whole upper body up and off of the mat, extending that opposite leg nice and long. If your low back comes off the mat, then extend your legs a little higher in the air. If you want to challenge yourself and your low back stays nice and glued to the mat, then you can stay nice and low. The feet extending nice and long, pointing that toe. We're almost done. 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Lowering yourself all the way down. Bringing those heels towards the glutes. The closer your heels are to your butt, the easier this is going to be. The farther away, the harder it's going to be. You're going to lift your upper body off of the mat and then just do some heel touches. You're reaching those fingers towards those toes. You're gazing in your navel, looking at that stomach, crunching it in, and drawing that navel towards the spine. Really reaching. Maybe you want to bring those heels farther away, so you have to crunch up a little bit farther. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relaxing everything down. We're going to flip it over onto our stomachs. Coming into a plank pose here. Hands underneath the shoulders. We're going to do some mountain climbers. We're going to get that heart pulse, heart beating. So let's go. Knees in. Knees coming into those elbows. Our hips stay nice and low to the ground. You can go as fast or as slow as you need to go here. Maybe you bring the knee to the opposite elbow, get a little twist in there. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down onto the back, we're going to return to those roll-ups. So we're going to start here, bringing the hands out in front, slowly lowering ourselves all the way down. And then inhale, coming back up. Nice straight spine. Exhale, lower yourself down nice and slow. Inhale, coming back up to a nice seat. And lower back down. Inhale, coming back up. The crown of the head is pointing towards the ceiling. Three, 2, we're going nice and slow, so we're not using momentum to pull our upper body up. It's all coming from that core. And lower all the way down, nice and slow, bringing the hands behind the head, knees above the hips, coming back to that bicycle, punching it over. Again, we're really reaching with that shoulder, so it's not just dragging the elbow across the body, your whole upper body is lifting off of the mat. Our core is nice and tight. Our feet are low to the ground or high from the ground if it's okay for your back. Five, 4, really crunch it in. 3, You got it. Only 2 more. 2. And 1. Lowering everything down to the mat. Our heels are close to the glutes or farther away if you want to challenge yourself. Lifting the body up, coming back to those heel touches. Really think about pushing that low back into the mat, sucking that navel towards the spine, and really think about touching the heel with your fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax everything down. We're going back to those mountain climbers, coming into that plank position. Hands are underneath the shoulders, coming into that strong plank, and then we're bringing knee to elbow, knee to elbow. If you want to go faster, you can go faster. Our hips are nice and low. You want to make sure that your booty is not in the air. Maybe you want to bring opposite knee to opposite elbow. Five, 4, you got this. 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down, making our way back onto our backs. We're going to do some flutter kicks. So if it feels okay for your low back to lift your legs up and your low back stays glued to the mat, then you don't need to put your hands underneath your hips. If you find that your low back starts lifting off of the mat, you're just going to place your hands in a little diamond shape underneath your sacrum, which is above your tailbone, and then you're going to push your low back into your hands or into the mat and lift your legs up. From here, we're just going to flutter kick the legs out, bringing the feet one on top of the other, crunching that abs in, sucking the navel into the spine. You should feel this more in your core than in your low back, squeezing everything in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relaxing the hands down, bring the knees into the chest, give them a little squeeze. And we're going to squeeze that right knee in, extend the left leg long, really squeeze that right leg in, and then we're going to switch it out. Our chest, our neck, and our shoulders are off the mat. Our hands are doing a light touch. So we're not using our hands to pull our knees in, we're using our core for that. Our hands are just there for support. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dropping it down, relaxing everything in. We're going to keep the knees above the hips, hands behind the head. We're going to do reverse crunches. So we're really going to be working that deep transverse abdominis muscle. So you're going to bring your head and shoulders off the mat and then crunch it in. Lower it down, crunch it in. So your hips and your shoulders are coming off of the mat and you're really pushing that low back into the mat. Try to be nice and slow and controlled so you're not using your momentum to hoist yourself up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back through center. We're going to flip it over. Coming into a high plank position. We're going to do plank up, down. So we're getting a little bit of an arm workout in here. We're going to drop down to our elbows. And then we're going to push ourselves back into a high plank. Drop down to the elbows and push ourselves back up. Try to drop down on the different elbow every time. So you're dropping down on the right, coming back up with the right, dropping down to the left, coming back up to the left, and keep going. Your hips are nice and low to the ground. If you need to drop down to your knees, you can. We're almost done. 1 more each side. And then coming back down onto the back. Coming back to those flutter kicks that we did before. So your hands can be underneath your butt or your hands can be by your side. You're going to lift the feet off of the mat, And then just crossing the legs one over the other. Core is nice and tight. Our low back is glued to the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Crunching it in. We're going to go back, bringing the knees into the chest. Extend that left leg long, pull that right knee in, and then switch it out. Our head, neck, and shoulders are lifted off the mat. If that's too much for your neck, or if your abs are really burning like mine, you can lower your upper body down and just work the legs. But challenge yourself. Try to keep yourself nice and lifted. We're not here much longer. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relaxing everything down. Crossing the ankles over. Hands behind the head. We're going to come back to those reverse crunches, lifting the body up and lowering, lifting the hips, lifting the shoulders. Make sure that you're not pulling your head up with your arms. Your shoulders are doing all the work. Your hands are not forcing your head. Your head is just merely being supported by your hands. The work is coming from the lower abdominals. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to those plank up downs, flipping it over. Hands are underneath the shoulders, lifting ourselves up. And then we're going to drop it down. Drop it down to the right elbow, back up with the right hand, down to the left elbow, left hand's lifting us back up. Making sure that those hips are nice and low. I know you're getting tired, but you got this. Burning out that core. We're not here for much longer. 2, and 1. Coming back down, doing it one more time on the left side, and then lowering the hips down. Sit it back for just a second. Dropping those hips down to the floor, taking a nice stretch just for a moment, and then we're going to come into a plank hold. So we're just going to hold plank, coming down onto the forearms. Hands can be in a number 11, or maybe you want to take a grip. You're going to lift your knees off of the mat, and we're going to hold here. The belly button is tucked. The tailbone is down slightly. You're really crunching those abs in, keeping everything nice and low. You might be shaking. That's okay. Shake it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering down. We're going to come into some side V-sits. So if you want to have your hand here to support you, you can do that. We're going to lift the legs up and down. So you can take this hand to support behind you, or maybe you want to test your balance, and we're crunching it in. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching it out. Right hand stays down. You can have your left hand behind you for support. We're lifting up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back down onto our backs, bringing the knees into the chest. We're going to lift the head, neck, and shoulders off of the mat. We're gazing at our navel. We're going to bring our feet to a tabletop position, so at 90 degrees. Hands are going to come down by the sides, and we're just going to push the hands down. Try to breathe with your hand movement. We're gazing down, tucking everything in. Maybe you want to extend your legs. Maybe you want to bring them down slightly. Maybe you want to keep them bent. Maybe you want to alternate. We're not here for very much longer. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax everything down. Rock and roll yourself up to a seat. Planting the hands, coming into our plank hold, dropping it down to the elbows. Our butt is nice and close to the ground, and we're holding here. Think about tucking that tailbone down. Really squeezing the abs. As if someone was going to come up behind you and try to kick you in the gut. You're braced for it. Squeezing everything in. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Come on, you got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lowering down. Coming back into those V-sits. Our left hand is our support right now. I'm going to keep my right hand on my waist and lifting up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching it out. Hopefully your abs are burning like mine are. This arm's behind you. I'm going to keep my left hand on my waist. Lift it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back onto the back. Last thing left to do, guys. Our knees are in towards our chest. We're going to extend those legs up, lift the neck, head, and shoulders off of the mat. We're gazing down at our navel here. We're going to pump those hands. Extend those legs long. Bring them back to 90 degrees. Extend them out a little lower. Bring them back to 90 degrees. Extend them out low this time. You can do this. You got this. You got this. Bring them back in. One more time. Long. Back to 90 degrees. A little lower. Back to 90 degrees. And the lowest. You got this. Gazing at your navel. Come on. And relaxing in. Squeezing those knees in towards the chest. Rocking, rolling back up to a seat. Plant those hands. Coming into our plank hold. Just kidding. We're going to drop the hips down. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Stretching out that core. Maybe gaze over your right shoulder. Coming back through center. And gazing over the left. And taking our break. So that's our ab workout for today. You guys did great.